So, hands. So, the first thing I do is I figure out, you can see where I started and then erased it to film this video, ignore that. So I figure out how big it's gonna be. So we start with basic shapes. So I know that it is like from his hair to like somewhere down there. So what I do for that is I just draw a circle. Just to figure out where it's gonna be and how big it is. And I know that top finger's right there, you know, blah, 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 circle. Okay, shape. And then connect that to the wrist. And this makes it so that even if you mess up, you don't have to erase the whole thing because you're not going to mess up on how big it is or like, yeah, you aren't going to mess up on how big it is or where it's at. So you never going to have to erase the whole thing and replace it. So that's good. Okay, so you got that circle there. And then we're going to break this up into smaller circles. So here you can see there that there's kind of this shape here and then this shape here. And that's like the basic way that palms work. There's like two circle things going on there. So this is going to be that shape. And then there's going to be another one like right there. It's going to be another circle. Looks like a butt. Okay, and then this bottom circle, this circle right here is going to lead you to where your pinky is. Because the pinky connects to that. Alright, and then this circle, this one is going to lead you to where your thumb is. And again, this is all just really basic shapes, just to lay out my proportions. And then we'll fine tune it later when I know that everything is going to be in the right place so that I don't have to erase it all and move it. And then I just start figuring out the shapes of the fingers. And in this picture, they're really round and Renaissance-y. So it's going to be a lot of circle shapes versus like if you want to draw a really like angular muscular hand, you'd do a lot more like sharp boxes for the knuckles and stuff. But this one isn't really like that. And sometimes even if it's like not exactly the same as the picture, nobody really is gonna know that as long as it like looks natural. Yeah. And then this finger goes up. This is already a little off, but that's okay. It goes up there. Whoa. Okay, so I went ahead and white-outed that a little bit because I realized that the finger was going to be up there. So now we're going to go back to basic shapes. Again, this drawing is really circular, so like all the joints are going to be just like circles. So like that's a circle, that's a circle, and there's going to be a circle here. And those circles are going to help lead you to your creases. Like this is going to be a crease and this is going to be a crease. And that's, you know, circular. Alright. And then this one, same deal. It kind of goes up. More like that. And there's a third circle here because this finger is a bit more extended so you can see more of it. And then top finger is gonna go somewhere up there. Whiteout's a little difficult to draw on. dun, dun. And then that's your basic shape. And then you can go through, got your basic shapes, so you can go through and erase all of your first sketchy line things. I'm gonna keep a little bit of that circle because it's not unrealistic. Make the lines a little bit thinner because they're really heavy and thick right now. Wow, you can't really erase on a whiteout. Okay. Alrighty. This pinky, like that. Alright, now you got hand shape. Yeah. That this finger, this one right here, in the picture, it's sideways, you know? It's going sideways like the fingernail's up there on top. And in this one, it doesn't look like that. It looks like it's going forward. So what you just do for that, whenever fingers are going sideways, they're gonna have a little bit more of a dip on the top for where the fingernail is to where it's flat and then curved underneath. So it's gonna be like straight on top, curved underneath, and then that straightness is gonna go up a little bit for the knuckle. And now the finger is sideways. And same thing for this guy. Do a little bit straight edge. Alright. This one too. Just to really define what the person is looking at when they see your artwork. So they just think there's no question that those fingers are not, you know, yeah. And now that you got your basic shape, you can start shading. So what you're gonna try to remember here is, well, first of all, you're gonna use your reference picture, and you're gonna try to remember those original shapes that you had, like all the little circles, because those are gonna be your guidelines for shading. Because shading is all about making things 3D, and when you think of these all as like little cylinders and circles together, then you just start shading them like cylinders and circles, and then it looks 3D. So, this is a circle, so I'm gonna shade the underside of it. Kind of go around a little bit. And then there's the wrist there, which is also just a big cylinder. So you just kind of, yeah. And then there's this dent that's always in the middle of hands, so you have to make sure to shade that. And that kind of separates the two circles. And don't forget about your shadows. This pinky is supposed to be a little bit further up. A little bit more like that too. And shading can be messy. It doesn't have to be precise. Just like everything else, I feel like that's the biggest mistakes that new artists make. And it took me a really long time to unlearn it too, because I was the same way, where you think that everything has to be precise and on the first line when it doesn't. I mean, when I was in my like art classes and stuff, if you were drawing slow, you weren't doing it right. They would encourage a lot of hand movement, a lot of motion, a lot of energy in your lines, because that's how I don't know, it just makes it more, you can feel the energy when you look at the drawing, so it makes it feel more lifelike instead of very static and robotic. Yeah. So it's all about energy and motion and movement. And just feeling those movements and those curves and those lines. Yeah. And then from there, you can just kind of clean it up and make it more precise. It's all about general to specific.